you to make a bar graph. Okay, it says to turn to page 41 and using figure 1-21, which is basically this table right here. Okay, what you're supposed to do is use the data for the world, which is that column, use the data for the United States, which is that column, and then two other countries that have an ecological credit or reserve. Okay, so like Canada would be one. Basically the number on the top, which is the biological capacity, is higher than the ecological footprint. So Canada could be one, Mexico doesn't work, Brazil could work, and so on. Okay, so it's your choice. Use the world, use the United States, and use two other countries that have a reserve for your graph. Okay, so first off, this is considered portrait paper. Okay, you need to first off turn it to landscape, which looks like that. Okay, that's how we're going to do our graph. Okay, we're going to make a bar graph that actually has two vertical y-axes. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, so left y-axis. Okay, like the instructions say, name this per capita biological capacity. Okay, and you always have to put units. So this is hectares per person. Okay, that's the one on the left. Okay, now the one on the right, okay, that's going to be the other row in that table on page 41. Okay, so this is per capita ecological footprint. Okay, then we got to do units again. So again, it's hectares per person. Okay, so we got both y-axes set up. So then the x-axis, like it says in the instructions, that's going to be the world and selected, oh, I spelled that wrong. Selected countries. Oh, I spelled that wrong too. This is why I teach science and not English. Okay, so now I got it all set up. Okay, now like it says, you need to plot your data. You need 2 bars per country and the world. Okay, so 2 countries for the world, 2 countries for the USA, and so on. Okay, so the scale on which you use is going to be based on your selected countries, how high it goes. Okay, so just for example's sake, I'm going to make mine go to 10. Okay, and then I'm going to count by units. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, then I label them all. Okay, now I would personally make the others the same, so that way you can compare and contrast. Okay, so I'll put 10 up there. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, one of the things is, like, even though you have the same scale, if you're doing this by hand and like your 1s and the 2s and like you can see 3, for example, doesn't line up perfectly, that's okay, as long as it's close. Okay, so I'm going to put the world right there, USA right there. What were some of the countries? I'll do Russia and Canada. Now I'm going to be making up numbers, so don't believe what I'm doing. Okay, one of the things it does talk about is to make sure you got to include a key and you got to include color. So I'm going to have both blue and green for the different Y graphs. So like the green will be per capita ecological footprint. The blue will be per capita biological capacity. Okay, so before I get started, I'm going to make a key or a legend. Okay, so I'll do a little green box right there and do a blue box right there. Then I'll take my pen. I'll write biological capacity, and this is ecological footprint. Okay, we should be pretty familiar with setting graphs up like this. Okay, now again, I'm just going to make up some numbers, so don't believe what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to write that the ecological capacity, or excuse me, the biological capacity for the world, let's say, is 2. Okay, so I make a bar that goes all the way up to 2. And then let's say the ecological footprint for the world is at 4. Okay. All right. USA. Let's say our ecological footprint is at, I don't know, let's say 6. Okay. But our ecological footprint, we're good in the United States at being way too much, so I'm going to go all the way up to 10. Color that in. Okay. Now we get to the countries that have reserves. So now the blue line, let's say Russia's at 5. Okay. But since they have better, a smaller ecological footprint, let's say that theirs is at 3. Okay. Then Canada, let's say that Canada is at, let's put Canada at 7. Why not? Okay, then Canadians, they're great people, so I'm going to put theirs being at 1, just to make them sound better. Again, these are made up numbers, but this is the way the graph should look. It's a bar graph. You have 2 bars per country or the world. The y-axis has a label, has units. The y-axis over here has a label and units. The x-axis also has a label. If you have questions, let your teacher know.